Quick move. Oh my gosh, it gets Escobar, the second most relieved.
Eric Gunn Jr.'s reaction too on that.
I'm sorry, I have to say this. I have a moral obligation to do so. I guess you could say that clip was pretty nuts. I am deeply sorry for that, but what's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a ton to talk about today, including Vladimir Guerrero Jr. making history for the second day in a row, although this wasn't good history to make. Chicago showed off why it's called the Windy City, and then Freddie Freeman returned home. If you did not know, he is from California. He hit a double in the 8th inning, and my goodness, the LA crowd went wild. The Freddie chant alone gave me chills. Also, I just found out that almost 50% of you guys are not subscribed, so we're on the road to 400,000. We might do a few giveaways when we get there. And a reminder, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off if you're going to any baseball games anytime soon. Now, because we just talked about Freddie Freeman and the Dodgers, I want to stay with the Dodgers real quick because today is Jackie Robinson Day, one of my favorite players and human beings of all time. This game would not be where it's at without Jackie, so I wanted to pay some homage to him and tip my cap. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on to a few other breaking stories. Top prospect Mackenzie Gore is making his Major League debut today. So if you guys are interested, maybe you're not a Padres fan, but you want to see one of the highest ranked pitching prospects in the history of baseball try and get his first W, that's going to be on. And then breaking news out of the Mets camp, Brandon Nimmo and Mark Canha are out with the vid, but if they get 2 negative tests, I think Nimmo needs 2 negative tests and then Canha needs 3 negative tests, they'll be allowed back on the squad, so they might not even miss any more than 2 or 3 games. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the games from yesterday, and I want to talk about Randy Arozarena real quick because I wanted to shout him out for it was very charitable yesterday. Look at him. He donates a free inside the park home run to Christian Pache of the Oakland Athletics. Very nice of the reigning Rookie of the Year to help out Pache, who is still rookie eligible. So Christian's going to try and get that Rookie of the Year, and he's going to get some help from Randy. Sean Murphy rips an RBI double in the 3rd inning, and Oakland ends up with 5 runs after a few RBI groundouts. And this was all for Cole Irvin. The dude was dealing, only allowing 1 earned run through 6 innings. But the operative word in that sentence was he was dealing. He allowed a 2-run nuke to Brandon Lowe, who now owns the best OPS plus of any second baseman since integration, going back 50 or 60 years. Is he the most underrated player in all of baseball? You guys have to let me know who you think the #1 guy is in the comment section down below. The A's bullpen carves up the Rays like Halloween pumpkins and somehow steal a series. Yes, they won the series in Tampa Bay after Oakland completely gutted their roster, so I guess tip your cap to that. Moving on over to the Rangers and the Angels, this was Ohtani Day, and I know that Trout is a fish, but this guy is a goat. He is the GOAT. Trouty hit the furthest home run of his career. This one went almost 480 feet. He had started off slow, and same for Ohtani, although Ohtani's woes continued and actually follow him onto the bump. Jonah Heim single-handedly broke this game open. He delivers on a grand slam and then an RBI single in the 4th, so Ohtani is torched for 5 earned runs. Seager gets on the board, his very first home run as a Texas Ranger, and that ignites a small little hit parade as Texas ends up with 10 runs on the day. And I guess the bright spot for the Angels has been top prospect Brandon Marsh. He is hitting a cool 333 on the year and an almost 460 on base percentage. Ohtani, on the other hand, is 5 for 29 with 10 strikeouts and an almost 8 ERA, but we're 6 or 7 games into the season. This is where overreactions are running rampant, and you gotta take a step back a little bit. Take a chill pill. Luis Severino, Sevy, aka the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. I didn't come up with that joke, but apparently when he screams, like Yankees fans get that vibe, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park 1. He was on the bump and he loses his grip on a wild one that hits Gurriel Jr. And then him and Alek Manoah were jawing at each other. Alek Manoah was defending his teammates, and this came a few days after he shredded up the Yankees offense, so he was feeling himself, and it's just competitive baseball. I absolutely loved watching it. Both offenses were held in check through the first 2 innings, and the Yankees break through on some poor Blue Jays defense. Severino held on to a 1-run lead, and he struck out Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to end 5 brilliant innings with 6 strikeouts and an insane performance, because the Blue Jays offense is no joke. So when you can shut them out, that's a big deal. Trevino and Stanton extend the lead to 3-0, which is a good thing because Aroldis Chapman got 0 outs, walked every single hitter that he faced to load the bases. Michael King came in and was a king, striking out George Springer, and then he got some help for Bradley Zimmer on a game-ending double play. Zimmer, where were you going, buddy? So Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was left on deck, and I just want to mention he made some history in that game because he was the first player ever to earn the Golden Sombrero, that is 4 strikeouts in a single game, 1 game after hitting 3 home runs. So baseball always finds a way to humble you. We have a fun little matchup between the Padres and the Braves. Eric Hosmer, yet again, is trying to prove that he wants to stay in San Diego, and he is trying to prove to Padres fans that he is worth his contract. I know I've said that a lot over the first week. He has been in trade rumors going back to last year. They've been trying to offload that contract, but he has started 2022 on fire. A 2 RBI single in the first, and then Will Myers singles in another for a 3-run inning, but there's more. Top prospect CJ Abrams rips his first career long ball, and then Luke Voit, his presence is really making a difference because he grabs 3 RBIs between the 2nd and the 6th inning, and he leads baseball with 8 walks already. I think in the first 5 or 6 games, that is actually very impressive. He is showing off the eye. Joe Musgrove found his groove, striking out 6 hitters in almost 7 innings of shutout baseball. He has only allowed 2 earned runs in his first 13-ish innings of work. Manny Machado hits a 2-run ding-dong in the 7th. Wait, what? That was his 5th hit of the game? Manny Machado goes 5 for 6, and he tossed in 2 stolen bases, so he is leading the National League with 3. Okay, Manny, I see you trying to go for a dark horse MVP this year. San Diego is now 5-3, and they're only going to get better once they get Tatis back and their other guys from injury. So who is the team to beat in the West? Is it the Giants? Is it the Rockies? Is it the Dodgers? Is it the Padres? It's not the Diamondbacks. Speaking of the West, let's talk about the powerhouse in that division. The Dodgers, they win easy down in Cincinnati. Freddie Freeman finally returns home, the LA opener, and he connects on the very first pitch he sees for a base hit. He scores on a Justin Turner single, and then 2 more singles from LA pushed them to a 3-0 lead. Walker Buehler, who is my pick to win Cy Young, was electric through 5. He struck out Aristides Aquino twice, but then Aquino got payback on a 93 fastball that was not high enough. Aristides is 6'4". I would even argue that he's probably leaning towards 6'5". He demolishes that pitch. Price then allows a game-tying home run to Brandon Drury, and all this means is that Freddie Freeman is going to have a chance to take center stage, and the Freddie Freeman chant ensues after a clutch double. This one gave me chills.
Sweet, sweet swing, sweet memory.
Trey Turner then comes in and pokes one the other way to reclaim the lead, and then Will Smith slaps. You see what I did there? He slapped his baseball. Sorry for that joke. Mookie Betts then drives in Cody Bellinger, and the Dodgers scored 9 in their 3rd win in a row. Watch out, everyone. Cody Bellinger, he might be back. He has been seeing the ball very well. Seattle was down in the Windy City. We have the Mariners versus the White Sox, and just like Ohtani and a few other guys, Jared Kelenic was off to a horrific start, but he stayed positive, and he used that confidence to smack a 114-mile-per-hour home run off the foul pole. He didn't need any of that wind, which at some points got up to 30 miles an hour, so it was just crazy windy. Now, speaking of that same wind, it ate the Mariners defense alive in the 5th inning on 2 different plays. Now, luckily for Logan Gilbert, that was an unearned run, and then he comes back to strike out Lou Bob. For his 4th strikeout of the day, he has allowed just 1 earned run total over his first 2 starts of 2022. Then you have Andres Munoz coming in for relief, who struck out 3 hitters, throwing 102 to 103 miles an hour with wipeout off-speed stuff. Then you have Cal Raleigh and Mitch Haniger both going yard. So the Mariners win 5-1 in a nearly perfect game. If the win wasn't happening, they had a quality start from their pitcher, the offense showed up, and the bullpen threw 4 no-hit innings. That's about as perfect as a baseball game that you can play. The Pirates and the Nationals faced off. We have Keibert Ruiz, who they got in the Scherzer and Turner deal, putting Pittsburgh in the hole early, and then Yadiel Hernandez deepens that hole. So let's see if Pittsburgh can come back. Vogie, one of the thickest leadoff hitters I've ever seen in my entire life. He's got some tonnage. Brian Reynolds then rewards the Pittsburgh Pirates for bringing him his money. A 2-run shot ties it up, and then Kevin Newman, he's trying to prove me wrong after I said that he was not better than O'Neal Cruz. I still feel like that's the case. So a 4-run third puts Pittsburgh up by 2 runs, and they go on to win by 5. So what do we expect from these two teams? The Pirates and the Nationals both have superstars in Juan Soto and Brian Reynolds, but the pitching kind of stinks. So what is the over and under of both of them winning 70 wins? This next game got off to a slow start, but it picked up in the 4th inning as Garrett Cooper wallops a ball off Kyle Gibson of the Phillies, and newcomer Joey Wendell adds 2 more runs for Sandy Alcantara. Before we talk about Sandy, look at the Jesus Sanchez rakes. That's all I really have to say. This dude offensively is one of the more underrated lefties in the game, and I think that's because he's on the Marlins and he's still fairly young. Alcantara wasn't even on top of his game, but that's how good he is. Sandy can be off and still strike out 5 Phillies and only allow 2 earned runs in 6 1/3 innings pitched. The 2-timer, Bryce Harper, who is also off to a slow start, has been seeing the ball better as of late. He connects for a 2-run double and makes it a 1-run ball game late in Miami. It wasn't easy, but the Fish get it done, and they send Philadelphia to their 3rd third consecutive loss. Again, it is overreaction time. Mets fans are going wild on Twitter because the Phillies are not playing the best as of late. The Tigers and the Royals, Torkelson was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded, and then Miggy shows off the elite speed. He scores on a sac fly from Harold Castro, and both starting pitchers give up 2 earned runs, Casey Mize and Zach Greinke. Miggy notches his 3rd hit of the day, but was unable to get the RBI as Whit Merrifield throws out the turtle, Austin Meadows. He looks fast, but he's really not at all. Victor Reyes is trying to steal Akil Baddoo's spot, and he's doing a great job at giving a good first impression because he notches another clutch RBI single. Torkelson scores again. Gregory Soto earns his 2nd save, and I just want to mention, Miggy is now just 6 hits away from 3,000. Frank Schwindel, aka Frank the Tank, was taking on the Rockies yesterday. He secures an RBI right before Seiya Suzuki drives in his 10th RBI already. Kyle Freeland stays in the game. I'm not sure why they did this because Frank eats lefties alive. He shows that off. The Cubs and the Rockies are both 4-2, and some other notables from that game. Jonathan Villar made an error at shortstop, so that was the first error of the season for Chicago, and Chris Bryant now has a base hit in every single game for the Rockies. We have the Brewers and the Cardinals. Andrew McCutchen is looking very comfortable with the Brew Crew. He is stacking up those stats to try and bolster his case to eventually make the Hall of Fame. Speaking of Hall of Fame, we know that Pujols is going to walk in, and he was thrown out for the first time trying to steal a bag since 2015, so it was nearly 7 years ago. Omar Narvaez kisses this one goodbye, and the scoring continues in the next inning as Renfroe singles and Yelich, and then Narvaez rips another RBI extra base hit, driving in Rowdy Tellez. Woodruff bounces back just like Burns did, tossing 5 shutout innings, only allowing 4 base runners to get on, and the Brewers have now won 3 in a row. And last but not least, wait, okay, I guess that was the last game. The final thing that I want to talk about, I'm going to give out my Players of the Week award every single week for the rest of the season. So in week number 1, I'm giving it to Jose Ramirez. Yes, he stole it from Stephen Kwan. Jose Ramirez hit .480 with 3 home runs, 14 RBIs, and had 26 total bases in 6 games. That is otherworldly stuff. Tyler McGill, I almost went with Kershaw, but I'm going to go ahead and go with McGill because he filled in for DeGrom, and that's no easy feat. He did not allow a single run or walk in nearly 11 innings of work. And then for relief pitchers, I'm giving it to Jordan Romano. 4 saves in 6 games, and he has not walked anyone while only allowing 3 hits in 4 innings. So that is going to do it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of the web gems from yesterday.
Walls goes after the first pitch down the right field line, and it's a very long run for McKinney, and McKinney goes into a slide. He caught it in foul territory.
Run a long way, getting close to that wall over there. You're thinking about
2-2. Deep center. Bader back at the wall, and he's got it. I don't think that leaves the park, but it's awfully close.